YouTube, welcome back to another video. And in this video, I'm going to cover how to transition from your strength training block to an endurance training block without losing any muscle. Okay, so the problem that most people face when they do this. Okay, so let's say your strength block, you've been in that for 16 weeks. Okay, you've built a solid strength foundation, you have implemented progressive overload, you've ensured nutrition is where it needs to be, you've been able to recover well, and you've made a lot of progress. Okay, now you want to go into more of an endurance phase because you've got an event coming up that you want to be doing, ultramarathon, triathlon, whatever it may be. So you're going to add in some running, conditioning, triathlon work, or some general sort of conditioning, hybrid work, etc. But what happens is once you do that, you feel smaller, you feel slower, and always fatigued. Okay, the issue isn't the additional volume of endurance, it's the bit in between. It's that transition period. Okay, so why does this happen? Why might you go from one extreme to the other? You suddenly increase your endurance volume far too fast. Okay, you drop your volume in the gym completely, you undereat, and therefore you're under recovering, and you expect to perform in both. So let's say you've gone from training predominantly strength, 70%. Remember, we've got 50-50 in a cup, so we need to have one prioritized more than the other. But let's say you've got 70% strength as your main focal point, 4 gym sessions, and you've been doing 1 to 2 runs a week. All of a sudden, you then go, right, 2 gym sessions and now 4 runs. That is going from one extreme to the other. You've dropped your gym volume a lot. You've increased your endurance volume way too much from going from 2 to 4. You're not making sure that your nutrition is aligning with that change, and therefore you're fatiguing, you're plateauing, and you're seeing no progress. Okay, so we want to first of all shift that mindset. Okay, you're not quitting bodybuilding. Okay, you're now just really focusing on performance as opposed to aesthetics. Okay, the goal is to evolve and not replace one completely with the other. If you've spent 3, 4, 5 months building strength, and then you go into an endurance phase, and then you're like, you know what, I'll lose all that strength, I don't mind. Well, you're just going to go round and round in circles. So instead, what you want to be doing is staying strong in the gym with your compound lifts, making sure you're getting the most bang for buck. However, what you want to be doing is, instead of going for, right, I want to build some muscle mass and strength, it's now thinking, what strength movements are going to give me the best transferable skills to the endurance disciplines that you may be training for. Okay, this is where the importance of phasing within your program comes into play. So when it comes to phase your training, so with this transitional phase, this could be between sort of 4 to 6 weeks. Okay, now let's use this as an example. You've been in a strength block, you've been doing 4 gym sessions per week, upper, lower, and you've been doing 2 easy runs a week. Okay, what you're then going to look to do as the weeks go by over this transitional phase is go from 70% strength, 30% endurance, to maybe 65, 35, 60%, 40%, 55, 40, and slowly flip that switch. Okay, slowly transition from one focus to the other. You can do this by adding in some endurance work. Again, in this phase, I would be focusing on building your aerobic capacity. So I wouldn't be going straight away max intervals. I'd just be keeping it nice and easy, heart rate relatively low, and just building up some volume and also some conditioning. Okay, especially if you've not been doing much running / volume in your strength block, don't go from one extreme to the other. Okay, you may then look to drop some gym volume, so you might look to reduce a working set, or you might look to decrease the amount of times you go to the gym each week. Okay, by roughly 30%. Okay, from there you then will look to go, right, if I'm dropping a gym session, let's go to full body as opposed to upper lower, lower. And there you are looking to bang for buck movements, compound lifts, and one exercise that can transfer to your endurance discipline. If you do that, you're going to be in the right path. Okay, it's exactly what I've done. I have done it where I've gone from a strength training focus to endurance within a week, and I've felt battered and not prepared, both mentally and systemically from a central nervous system perspective. So what you want to be doing is just taking your time through that transitional block. So when it comes to this phase as well, we want to be maintaining muscle mass with intention or with intent. Now, studies have shown you will only need roughly 30% of your normal volume to maintain muscle mass. okay? Which, to keep math simple, if you usually do 15 sets per week of a muscle, you could get away with doing 4 or 5. I would start with a little bit higher, more maybe 6 to 8, and then you can look to decrease that once your endurance volume becomes the main focus and takes up a lot of time, and you need more time to recover. So when I've done ultramarathon training blocks, the Ironman training block, I went from 3 gym sessions to 2 because I needed an extra day to recover or to do a bike or a swim or a run. With your lifts though, remember, if you are reducing your sets, that doesn't mean you can just go in there, move the weight from A to B, sound, that'll do, I'll maintain muscle. You still need to go in there, lifting heavy, staying strong, and taking things close to failure, okay? You need that intensity in your gym work because remember, you're doing less. So if anything, you need to be training that little bit harder to maintain that strength and muscle mass, okay? So that's going to allow you to focus on your endurance, maintain your muscle mass, and still keep a physique that you want whilst you're improving your endurance performance. This is exactly what I've done myself and done with others. Adapt your running training program. So like I've said, that was more the gym, maintenance and volume. Here we're looking at how do we go about incorporating more running, okay, as an example. So how I would be going about it is in this transitional phase, adding in some more distance or duration for my runs, building that up and focusing on my zone 2 base, okay? 2 to 3 short runs per week, keeping them short, easy, and then you might have a long one as an example. But to initially begin within those couple of weeks, keep intensity low, allow your body to adapt, build up your volume, and that's going to allow you to increase your engine before you then add in your intervals and your tempo. Nutrition, so we've gone gym training, endurance, and now nutrition. If we are shifting that focus to more endurance, you are going to be burning more calories, okay? Because let's take, for an example, a 60-minute gym session, you might burn 200 calories, 250. Even if your watch tells you you've done 600. On a run, you might do 500, 550, depending on the run. So you can see how an hour's run to an hour's gym, you're going to be burning through more calories. So that way, we need to take that into account. So look to increase your calories by 300 to 500 when you're doing your endurance day or when your endurance load increases. Another thing I would do is if you burn 1,000 calories on a run, look to consume 80% of those back and add it on top of your baseline calories. So if you normally have 2,500 calories per day, you burn 1,000 calories on a run, you would then eat 800 back. So for that day, it'd be 3,300 calories. And out of those 800 calories extra, they're going to come from mainly carbohydrate sources and more palatable, more enjoyable pastries, etc., just to get fuel back in the system. Now, priority with carbohydrates, we want to focus around our training window. So pre and post, as I've mentioned a lot, pre 60 to 90 minutes before, post to help with recovery, protein, carbohydrates. Protein, again, from a macronutrient perspective, I'd keep at 1.8 to 2 grams to maintain muscle mass, so 80 kilos, 160 grams in total. So what we want to be doing is ensuring we're eating enough food to maintain and grow muscle mass whilst also helping improve performance and recovery. So an example, transition week. Strength on a Monday, lower body. Tuesday, an easy run. Wednesday could be strength of an upper body. Thursday could be a rest if you are just getting in the first couple of weeks, or I'd have that as a rest. But as you then transition more so, you might then look to bring in a tempo run. It could be a 2 kilometer warm up, 5 kilometers at threshold, 2 kilometer cool down, 3 kilometer cool down. There's 10K. Okay, as an example. Strength full body on a Friday, long run on a Saturday, nice and easy, and then Sunday rest. And then with your volume, with your running, you could then look to increase every couple of weeks. And after about 4 to 6 weeks, you've made that transition into now more endurance focused. So that's typically what I would do. And then even if as you go further on down the line, this strength on a Wednesday might be a full body because your Monday you might need a rest because you're doing something on a Sunday, as an example. So then you'd go to 2 full body gym sessions each week to maintain the muscle mass with the 30% volume that we've sort of spoken about. Now, the biggest mistakes that I do see, especially with a lot of people, is they start too aggressive with their running mileage. Okay, it reminds me of some friends that signed up to do an ultramarathon. They booked it last November. The ultramarathon was in June. And I remember within a week or two of them training for it, their long run was already at like 20K. I was like, right, it's a bit soon. It was a 50K ultra and they were doing 20Ks as their long run after about a week or two of training. And whilst the motivation's high, they want to train, which is great, think long term, okay? Get the most out of the least amount possible. It's going to give you the biggest runway, and that way you're obviously going to be preventing injuries, etc., and keeping that motivation high. You know, because if you start with 20 kg long run on week 2, it's going to become a lot later on down the line, okay? Another thing is dropping heavy lifting too quickly, especially with legs. Lower body, I'm running, so I can't really train legs that hard. Bollocks. Stay strong in the gym with your lower body even more than your upper body, because that's what's going to help you with those extra miles. That's what's going to help prevent your injury. Because later on down the line, if you do neglect your lower body training, guess what? You're going to have injuries through your knees, through your hips, through your ankles, because you've got weak tissues around the joints that are becoming injury prone. Okay, so still stay strong in the gym. You get away with a bit more upper body volume, but make sure you're getting bang for buck movements and staying strong. Under eating or training fasted, pretty self-explanatory. You want to make sure you're eating enough calories back. Ignoring recovery, so maybe they haven't had deload weeks, maybe they don't have rest days, or rest days they'll go to the gym. A rest day should be to rest, okay? Go on a walk, do something like that, okay? You don't have to just sit and not do anything, but be strategic, okay? We want to make sure that we have structure instead of chaos. Now, when done correctly, we don't just, like I say, we don't flip the switch, go from strength block straight into an endurance phase. We have some transition in between. So like I say, it might be 70-30 from a gym to endurance, but then over that transitional block, it goes 40% gym, 60% endurance. Okay, so you can see how they can change over that period of time. It's just sort of working our way up, almost earning the stripes. And that is going to allow you to obviously have a strong base, still have that balance, and improve at the focus that you need to, dependent on the phase you're in with your training. Now, the result of this, you'll build endurance whilst maintaining muscle mass. You might even increase muscle mass as well, especially towards the start, but your endurance is going to go through the roof. You're going to maintain muscle mass. Fantastic. You're going to hold strength as well because you've reduced your volume, but you can give more in those sets, which is going to allow you to obviously stay stronger, look better, and also improve your performance. You'll look, move, and perform like a true hybrid athlete. Which leads me nicely to the Hybrid Athlete Blueprint. Now, this is a course I've just brought out. It is £99. It has got 6 modules in there, 25 lessons, and each module has multiple downloadable resources, okay? It covers your training, your nutrition, your recovery, your everything in between, your running programs, your training programs, what to eat, the whole lot. So if you want to join, I'm going to leave the link in the description below. That, like I say, is £99 and it is on school platform. So hopefully we enjoyed this video. If we did, give it a like, subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.